Hey everyone, Rev Rush here. Today we're going to be trying out some more VGC 2016 battles. We're trying out a new team here. It involves a Mega Groudon, a Mega Mawile, a Breloom, a Chandelure who knows Trick Room, very interesting, a Mewtwo with Safeguard to protect against Dark Voids, and a Walrein who has Super Fang and Icy Wind to help with speed and lowering of the HP. This was a regionals team. It got about 5th place, I believe, so we're going to go ahead and try it out, see how we perform with it. I've done a few battles ahead of time with it. It's pretty fun. It's very interesting and kind of difficult to use. It struggles against Rayquaza and Kyogre at times, but beyond that, it's a pretty fun team to use. So we see dual primals here, as long as a Whimsicott, who's always problematic because he has Worry Seed and he can do some fake tears nonsense. So, by the looks of it, it's going to be a hard Trick Room team, but the possibility of getting a super effective ice move off is pretty nice. I think that the best lead is going to be someone who's not a physical attacker, so we're going to go with Mewtwo, Walrein, Breloom might be helpful, and we'll bring our Groudon in behind it. So let's see how we do with this battle time. So he brings out a Kangaskhan and a Cresselia. So probably assuming it's going to be fake out, but in the off time case that it isn't, we're going to Side Strike the Kangaskhan and go for a Super Fang onto it as well. We'll see how this goes. He fakes out the Mewtwo as kind of suspected, and I get half damage off onto it. He gets a Trick Off, which is what kind of I figured would happen. But I might as well go for a Protect in case of super, any Super Fangs, not Super Fangs, double Super Sucker Punches. And we'll see how much Ice Beam can do to our Kangaskhan target. He's probably gonna Gravity. Yeah, he Gravity. And that doesn't do enough to take down the poor Kangaskhan, sadly. But now we know that the Groudon's gonna come out shortly. Alright. We're gonna Safeguard in case, well actually no. There's not much reason to keep Mewtwo in, honestly. But in the off case that we can do something to it, we're gonna Safeguard the Cresselia and go for another Ice Beam onto the Kangaskhan slot. We're slower than the Kangaskhan, so that helps us out here. And we get a little bit of damage up in the Cresselia. Nothing really. It's minuscule at best. Oh, our opponent sends out the Groudon as expected, really and truly. We have 2 rooms of Trick Room to put up with at the current moment. And I don't think Mewtwo's going to do very well against a Precipice Blade, unfortunately. We can try to go for a double Protect here. We did Protect last turn though, so... No, we didn't. We went for a Side Strike, which didn't do enough. We're gonna go ahead and... I think it'd be good to protect our Mewtwo while we go for another Super Fang onto the Groudon, at least being able to, do some damage on it the next turn. So Protect, Super Fang, and Helping Hand Precipice Blade's probably gonna, leaves me with just a little bit of HP. Now I'm debating to Protect or to go for an attack here. It's gonna be probably a double KO no matter what I do, unfortunately. So we're gonna try to get that double Protect off on the Mewtwo while we go for a Ice Beam onto the Groudon slot. Protect fails, so... Oh wow! Oh my! We got the crit. Wasn't expecting that, but it sure was lucky, wasn't it? That means we're still in this battle. We still have a chance. So now, we're gonna try to go for a Side Strike onto the Kyogre. as well as a Super Fang. He's probably going to protect, so this actually might have been... In retrospect, I'm going to Ice Beam that and Super Fang the Cresselia, in case he tries to set up the Trick Room. But now that I think about it, he may not, so... It's kind of the, you know, twisted hand you play here in VGC. You don't never know what to expect. I don't think he's doing Trick Room, but he could be. He actually goes for an Ice Beam. Doesn't do enough to take down my Shivers. That's just a clever name for Walrein. So, Side Strike the Kyogre, and we'll go for an Ice Beam onto the Cresselia spot. Our opponent could still possibly have this, but it doesn't seem too likely at the current moment. I'm going to take down, sack my own Mewtwo, so that I can get a Side Strike with a nice amount of damage off, and never underestimate a Walrein, because it has some crazy amount of HP, really. We're going to Bullet Seed the Kyogre, while going for a Ice Beam yet again onto the Cresselia. Get off the 2 Bullet Seeds as always, because even if it didn't hit more than once, that would have been fine. An Ice Beam going to be enough to solidify our first win here in this round. So, this team's very fun, I'd have to say. It has a lot of Pokemon you're not going to normally see, especially in VGC 2015 with the Chandelure, the Walrein, even Breloom, and a regular Mewtwo without a Mega Stone is even harder to find. So, it's a Kyogre team, so definitely don't want to bring Groudon in case of Origin Pulse Water Spouts, but I also kind of want to stop the Chandelure from setting up. I mean the Xerneas from setting up. So we're going to send out Chandelure first. Following that with I might follow it up with a Mawile. Although his Salamence doing Intimidate on me would be very problematic. Mewtwo could be a safe play, but he's very fast. So I think I'm going to go for Walrein and Chandelure, following it up with a Mewtwo and the Groudon. So he's going to probably go for... This is actually looking like a Trick Room team too, so we never know. Should have brought out Mewtwo to safeguard a case of Spores, but a little bit late there. We're going to go ahead... Shadow Ball the Cresselia, as well as going for... We could try to Heat Wave, but he might switch in the Kyogre expecting that, which is what I'm afraid of, so I'm going to Shadow Ball and go for I think I'll go for an Ice Beam onto the Amoonguss slot. He actually doesn't switch, so I'm probably going to get spored by the Amoonguss, I'm not sure who. Alright, Shivers is going to bed, and he's going to set up a Trick Room. Chandelure was actually pretty slow, but these two Pokemon happen to be faster than him. If I can avoid a Spore, I can undo the Trick Room. As we saw in the previous turn, I was the fastest Pokemon. I'm going to Protect and go for an Ice Beam again. He brings in his Kyogre, kind of what I expected. So, will Walrein wake up? It's very hopeful, isn't it? Alright. We're gonna bring out... See, this is where I'm struggling. If I want to bring out my Groudon and have him fall asleep to a Spore with, you know, a 50% chance of Walrein waking up. It's a very risky play. We're not gonna be able to do anything with Mewtwo just yet, because if I bring out Mewtwo, he's gonna be put right to sleep. So we're gonna bring out the Groudon and go for an Ice Beam onto that Amoonguss. Now he brings back out Cresselia, so nothing too much is gonna happen here. He's probably gonna Scale Swap the next turn if he... No, none of that. So okay, cool. If he has Skill Swap, we are in big, deep trouble. Um, what I might actually do, 2 rooms of Trick Room yet. I'm gonna protect it and go for a Super Fang into the Kyogre slot. If he has Skill Swap, we'll know. He does, so. Get a nice Super Fang off, and that's not gonna do hardly any damage to the Walrein. Now we're in a bit of a pickle. Water Spout can't do as much, but I think bringing in the Mewtwo would actually be better, and we can get the Sun back a little bit later. For the time being, gonna go ahead and Ice Beam the Cresselia spot. He rests, and that's very interesting for a Cresselia to have. Chesto Berry. I just should have Super Fanged it, honestly. He's gonna Scald my Mewtwo, and Trick Room's gone now. I'm gonna get off a Psy Strike onto that Kyogre. He might protect, while I go for a Super Fang on the Cresselia spot. Okay, so he switches into Moongus, which is fine. I'm gonna take it out in 1 hit. Get a Super Fang onto the Cresselia, who's probably gonna Trick Room again. As suspected, let's go ahead. He might predict a switch here, so let's protect the Mewtwo. And don't want to Icy Wind because that would be problematic. That would make them even faster in the Trick Room setting. We might Super Fang that Kyogre. Gonna protect Mewtwo. He's gonna go target the Mewtwo. Get up another Super Fang. While Scald's gonna do a little bit of damage. No burns. Perfect. If he skill swaps this turn, he gets an easy advantage. If not, but there's not much we can do, sadly. We're gonna go for a risky switching of the Groudon Primal while we target that Kyogre with an Ice Beam. So does he skill swap is the real question. He skill swaps, and we sacked our poor Mewtwo for nothing. I mean our poor Groudon for nothing. So, we can do something good though. We can hope to take down the Kyogre, unless he switches it out. But Walrein is faster than a Kyogre, and he kind of walls it in most aspects. I mean, Kyogre can't do much damage to a Walrein. It's running Scald, so possibility of burns, but that's about it. So Mewtwo's still in it, and Ice Beam's gonna do more than enough to take down that Kyogre, which is kind of what I wanted to happen anyways. He's probably gonna protect his Salamence, I'd have to suspect. But we're in a very problematic situation, honestly, here. I think a Psy Strike onto that Cresselia is the most amount of damage I could do here, while I go for an Ice Beam onto Salamence. He protects as suspected, and wow, okay. I'm going to protect my Chandelure because of the heavy rain, and then I'm going to go for an Ice Beam onto the Salamence. Here's hoping it KOs it. He shouldn't be able to get another Protect off, and if we can take down that Salamence this turn, we still have a chance in this battle. This game can be kind of crappy sometimes. But alright. he can't double edge me, never mind, because of his aerial light ability. Let's go ahead and Shadow Ball that Cresselia. The worst that can happen. I mean, we'll take it down. We did our best here. This was a very tough battle. I was hoping Double Edge wasn't going to do enough to take down the Mega Salamence, but unfortunately it did. But I'd say it was a pretty close battle. We'll hop right into our third battle here. We see Groudon Xerneas, very neat. Usually this is just a typical Big 6 team you're gonna see most of the time when you're battling with VGC. I'm gonna bring a Mewtwo because he can actually stop Smeargle's Dark Void, as mentioned earlier. It wouldn't hurt to bring Chandelure and try to set up Trick Room in case of Xerneas doing something with like Geomancy. So we'll do that. There's a few physical attackers here, so Mawile would be helpful. And of course, gotta bring in your Groudon. We'll see if we chose well. This team is a little bit difficult to use, not gonna lie. Kangaskhan and Groudon are gonna come out, so Mewtwo and Chandelure are gonna be able to do a nice amount of damage. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and protect Mewtwo while I could try to set up the Trick Room, but both of their speeds mean that Mewtwo will become the slowest thing on the field. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, well, I went for a double protect and I scouted. He went for Eruption. Okay, cool. Psy Strike and a Shadow Ball onto the Groudon spot. How we're going to do to make sure Groudon doesn't do too much damage with its Eruption the next turn. If he Sucker Punches me, that's the bad thing about this Mewtwo, it goes down in a heartbeat. He Sucker Punches my Chandelure, surprisingly. He burns himself too, which is very nice for me. Gonna get that Psy Strike off, as well as Eruption, doing not enough to either of my team. Shadow Ball, oh, doesn't take down the Groudon either. Shoot. I don't know who he's gonna target, really and truly. So in case he tries to go for a sucker onto my who's fast. Okay, so Chandelure is slower than Groudon. Oof, this is a tough turn. Let's just go ahead, double protect again. It doesn't hurt, and it'll make Kangaskhan lose a little bit of health. No sucker punches, and Flamethrower's not going to do very much. I'm assuming he tried to sucker punch my Mewtwo. So let's go ahead, bring out Kangaskhan while going for a Heat Wave, actually. If we predict the Sucker Punch well, that might help us out. No Sucker Punch, but Flamethrower's unfortunately gonna KO the Chandelure. We're gonna bring in the Mewtwo, but we're not going to use an attack. We're gonna use Precipitous Blades and Safeguard. Oh, what? How? Well, that's the battle. Very terribly, unfortunately. Let's go ahead. Sucker Punch the Kangaskhan and protect the Mewtwo. Oh, I've played just awfully in this battle, and it's been shown. We're gonna go ahead, X out of this one. No point in staying around in a battle once you've already kind of known you've lost. And here's pretty much the same exact team, but with a Clefairy. We're gonna go ahead and... I couldn't stop that Kangaskhan last time, really and truly. We're bringing in a different setup of some sort. A Mewtwo, but we're gonna back him up with Groudon. I think I'd like to bring in Trick Room again, and I think I'll bring in Walrein this time. We'll see if we can win our fourth battle here. If not, it'll be a bad loss, but you can't always, you know, win them all, as they say. We're gonna go for a Psystrike onto the Xerneas, as well as a Precipice Blade. He's going to fake out his Xerneas. Okay. Not sure entirely why that happened, but not complaining. Okay then. Let's set up our Safeguard and a Precipice Blade. So I think our opponent's purposely attacking or not playing well. Not sure what to tell you, folks. He sucker punched Talonflame and faked out his own Xerneas. Don't know if we'll be able to count this one as a legitimate win. I mean, sure, we'll count it if it happens, but not sure how to react to this team. And we're going to take down the Smeargle one hit. We learned that it doesn't have Choice Scarf, and Flare Blitz is actually going to take down the Mewtwo. And did I Fire Punch? I Fire Punched the Talonflame. So that's something. Xerneas is going to come back out. And in case of a Geomancy, I could try to set up a Trick Room, or I can just go straight for attacks. Let's see. Not sure what our opponent's been doing here. The Wide Guard was actually a good play in the Flare Blitz, but the other two moves just didn't make any sense. They forfeited, and we'll consider that one a win, but let's go ahead. We're 2-2 now. I guess technically. We'll see how we can, if we can get our third win. Very interesting Gengar Crobat setup here. I think that our Chandelure could do some damage here against some of the Pokemon, but it could also be hurt by them. Overall, a pretty fast team. I think Trick Room would be pretty fun to set up, as well as the majority of these Pokemon being highly weak to Mewtwo. We'll bring out Groudon behind it, and our Walrein can do a lot of damage to most of these three of his members of his team here. Whimsicott and Groudon come out. Neat. So, Desolate Land is out. We're gonna go for a Heat Wave and a Psystrike onto the Groudon spot. He protects. Sets up a Tailwind. How nice. I'm actually glad he set up that, because now I'm going to go for a Trick Room and a Protect. I have Shuckle Berry, so Precipice Blades shouldn't take me out in case, unless he not have Helping Hand. I kind of forget what Whimsicott runs, but a Trick Room won't be in that. We're the fastest opponents on the field because of his Tailwind being set up. He goes for a Grass Whistle, doesn't get it, and goes for an Earth Power, activating my Shuckle Berry, And we're gonna set up the trick room. Perfect. He still has Prankster, and Grass Whistle will probably hit. Let's play the safe play, go for a Heat Wave, and a Side Strike. You think? Yeah, okay, let's do it. It misses, luckily. Oh. And my move misses. Groudon's still so slow that there's power is able to take it out. I get a crit hit, and even then, that isn't enough. We're gonna use Icy Wind, and that'll protect, honestly. This might actually help him out the next turn. Now that I'm really starting to give it some thought. Icy Wind and Safeguard, why not? In case anyone else with status conditions wants to try something. I'm afraid Icy Wind won't KO both of them though. That's my only fear here. We'll start that timer, so making sure that we can get this done in a timely fashion. If he does a switch, that'll actually hurt me. He protects his Groudon. Misses me. I get an Icy Wind off, knocking off the Whimsicott. Xerneas comes out. Perfect. It's very fast, so it's not going to be able to do much in the Trick Room. Out of the Pokemon here, I'm least afraid of Groudon, so I'm going to Super Fang and Side Strike the Xerneas. Get the Super Fang off. He Earth Powers me, it shouldn't do enough. Then, oh, why was it fast? Oh, man. This is a brutal match, okay. I'm gonna go for an Ice Beam and a Precipice Blade. Ice Beam takes down the Groudon, and oh, awesome. Good, that was a good play. I was very terrified of what could have happened there. Let's go for Ice Beam and a Fire Punch here. Shadow Ball will hurt, and no Sash on this Gengar means that we are able to connect our third win here. Probably gonna wrap it up with that. If you enjoyed the video, do make sure to click that like button and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you next time.